What's up?
What's going on,
It's
everyone?
Friday. Friday apocalypse.
Fripocalypse.
Fripocalypse.
That's right.
It's Friday. It's time to sit down and talk about Final Order Cutoff. But before we do that, I'm going to get on my soapbox for a second and talk to you guys about the uncertainty of the world that we live in right now. So, New York obviously closed down. What is it called? Self-isolation?
I can't remember what it's called.
Self-quarantine, shelter in place. That's what it's called. California just put a mandate out that everywhere in California is set to shelter in place. I am sure that Colorado's going to be very soon behind the other two, which sucks. Because we don't really know what that means for the comic book industry moving forward. And I can tell you what we are going to do on our side of things. We are taking a look at Final Order Cutoff and my initial order for March, which is due next week, through an extremely close watch. We're basically going to be cutting numbers because we don't know if we'll be open next week. If everybody says that non-essential retail is closed, we'll probably still come in. We'll do mail-out shipments. We'll do all that sort of stuff so that we can get books to people so that they can, have some kind of escapism during this crazy time. But we may not be open to the general public. I don't know what that's going to mean for receiving comics next week. I don't know what that's going to mean for being open on Wednesday for new releases. It's it's an ever-changing landscape, and we are having to move and adapt as fast as we can. So, one of the ways that we can do that is we can help to minimize some of our monetary investment into this by cutting copies of books that we're putting on the rack. And we already kind of started this with last week's FOC, where we would normally put 4 copies of a book on the rack. We're cutting down to maybe 1. And that's part of the reason why I put the post up last night. Alex Cox, who used to work for the CBLDF and is now with IDW, I believe, and Scotty Young, created a web comic, a single web comic that talks about the importance of setting up a subscription or a hold slot or whatever you want to call it at your local comic book store, because we are very rapidly evolving to a pre-order only scenario, so that I know that a lot of people have gotten laid off recently with the closing of all of the bars and restaurants and entertainment, and now salons yesterday, nail salons, massage parlors, all that stuff. And we're going to have to kind of respond to that. It sucks. It sucks to be out of a job indefinitely. And so one of the things that we're going to do to move with that is to move towards a sub-only policy. If you've got a book on your subscription, that's perfect. We will order you a copy. If you don't have a book on your subscription that you are coming in and grabbing off of the rack, there's not going to be a rack copy anymore. We might, like I said, I don't know how long this is going to last, but we're definitely trimming the fat in terms of what we're putting on the rack because we may not have walk-in customers anymore. So that's why we're still doing this show. We're still going to be talking about comic books. We're still hopefully going to be able to do the stream sale. We're still going to do all of these things. We may do more stream sales since everybody is going to be stuck sheltering in place at home.
As long as we don't get stopped by a National Guard or something, we'll be here.
We're gonna continue to try to give you guys opportunities to get stuff as long as the post office doesn't shut down, as long as UPS doesn't shut down. But in looking at the overall scope of things, the need to have shelf copies is dwindling because there might not be a walk-in service anymore here at the store. So take that for what it is. Keep that in the back of your mind. If there's something that you've been coming into the store and grabbing off of the rack because you either don't care or didn't, you thought that there was going to be, it's not a big deal. He's got plenty of copies on the rack. That's going to dry up very, very quickly. Like I said, we already kind of put some of those steps in place last week this early Monday on FOC, and we're going to be cutting stuff even further on this coming FOC and on our initial order. So now is the time. If you guys are watching this show and you're seeing things, and you're like, oh, that's cool, I'll go pick it up at the store, please let us know that you would like to pull a copy or subscribe to a title. If we don't hear that from you, the perfect example of this is all of the the 2020 stuff. 2020 Machine Man, Forceworks, Rescue. We put that out there. We put that out there on the show, and we need your help getting Hall of Justice customers to be aware of the Facebook page. Like it boggles my mind. That's part of the reason why we started a YouTube channel. So we're doing this live on Facebook. We also post this to YouTube. So if you're not on Facebook, you still have a means to get all of this information. But the number of people that comment are a drop in the bucket in terms of our overall customer base. So we need your help. We need your help reaching out to folks that are customers of the store, telling them to pay attention, to watch the show, to participate with us if they want to get things that they are not necessarily subscribed to. So where was I going with all that?
Just keep going, man. Keep preaching. I mean, this is all the entertainment some people have right now.
I know. And I'm sorry to be so doom and gloom, but I don't know. We've only been open for 5 years. We've never dealt with a hurricane. You know, we talked to other retailers all over the world, and some of the guys in Florida are treating this as if a hurricane is coming to land. I don't know what that looks like. I've never been through anything like that. So one of the things that we are getting ready to move towards is to do sub-only, orders. Because we still want to make sure that the folks, the men and women and customers who have said that we want these things, will have those things for you. And you know us, we're willing to work with you. If you're out of a job right now, I get it. We pay for all of these comics that come in the door as soon as they come in the door. So they sit here until they're purchased by you. And we're cool with floating people. We have a 1-month policy. That's not a big deal. If you're out of a job, let us know
ASAP.
We're more than happy to work with you. If you're concerned about where you're going to be in the next couple of weeks, we can suspend your pull. It's not a big deal. We just stop ordering books for you. Your subscription remains so that when you say, hey, John, I'm ready to go, we click a button in the system and all of your subscription starts to become ordered again. So we'd rather you tell us that now than us having to come try to find you and hunt you down and say, hey, man, you stiffed us for this short box of comics. What's the deal? I've been out of a job since they closed all the restaurants. So we're reasonable people. Talk to us. Let us know what's going on. We hope that everybody's being safe and is healthy, and that you're doing what you can to minimize your footprint and all that sort of stuff. But this is how we are going to start responding to this, by moving to pretty much sub-only orders and ordering. So if there's something on this list that we're going to talk about here in a second that interests you, let us know so that we can order you a copy. Otherwise, we probably won't have any. So that's the spiel. Okay.
That is the spiel. Let's get moving.
All right. On to the fun stuff, I guess. Okay, so all this stuff that we're going to go over now is on FOC this coming Monday, March 23rd. Most of the titles that you see here are going to be in stores on April 15th. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
It's too uncertain right now.
It's too uncertain. I get that this is this is not a necessity. I mean, it is. To me, it is, because it's my, it's my well-being. It's the staff's well-being. But it's in a time of crisis. It's not a necessity, even though it is, because it's escapism. So we don't know. We don't know what's going on.
And some of the independents have stepped up.
Yeah, there are a lot of publishers.
But the big two,
Image,
not so much.
Image was the first to come out and say, anything that you as a comic book store order, actually from Monday's FOC until this all blows over, is totally returnable. And we thank Image for their support on that. They've been one of the, Image is always cool. Image has always been one of the cool cats. They're still the coolest cat out there. Boom is stepping up to the plate. A lot of the independents are. Dynamite has announced that they're going to cut their production of stuff and just kind of postpone some things. Aftershock has done the same. Everybody's kind of waiting with bated breath to hear what Marvel and DC and even Diamond are going to do. Marvel, I just read the email from Marvel, which doesn't really help anybody, which is unfortunate, because they've had 2 weeks to prep something for retailers.
Well, they made a meme.
And they did. They made They made a Black Widow meme about washing your hands to promote the new Black Widow book that's coming out, but that doesn't help anybody. So, anyway, enough of that. Supposedly, these titles will be in store on April 15th. If you'd like to subscribe to anything, please comment sub and the title. If you would just like to pull a copy to make sure that you get one, and then you can read it and figure it out if you like it or not, please comment pull with the title, the cover if there's a variant that you would like, and the quantity if you want more than one. I don't know why anybody would in this state of being, but if you want 5 copies of this cool Batman 93 variant with Harley on the cover, we can get it for you. You just have to tell us, okay? So from Dark Horse this week, we have Everything Season 2, Number 1. The Unsettling Small Town Saga continues in Volume 2 of Everything, which is written by the guy who did Halt and Catch Fire. Lori is the Megastore's newest disciple, but how much power does she really have? After all, Marshall Gooder's personally overseeing her every move, and as a resistance begins to rise, Everything's true dark nature will emerge. We stocked number 1. It didn't sell well. We didn't stock number 2. It went to a sub-only book. If you were on for the first Everything and you want the new one, let us know. If not, we probably will just skip it. But I want to give you guys the tools so that you can make informed decisions. Okay? Up next from Dark Horse, this one's pretty cool. This is from the world of Hellboy. We have The Last Night of Saint Hagen, number 1 of 4, little 4-issue miniseries that covers fantastic. A wily Polish spy pursued by a group of Nazi enforcers flees through the small town of Torn. The year is 1939, the beginning of the German occupation, and he carries important information for the resistance. But a bullet, a tomb, and a ghost, perhaps even God, have their own plans for the spy, and they will involve the mystical crusader knight Saint Hagen. Mike Mignola and Scott Alley join with artist Andrea Moody and colorist Lee Lowridge to bring you this dark tale of bloody intrigue and otherworldly horror. Some hauntings are more potent than others.
Or impotent.
Or impotent. The Last Night of Saint Hagen from the world of Hellboy, 4-issue miniseries. If you'd like to subscribe to that, let us know. If you want to pull a copy, let us know. I'm in. Mike's behind it. I'm a fan. Okay? From DC this week, Batman 93 is on FOC. Batman faces off with the designer as their Dark Designs reaches its epic climax. In the last year, Batman has lost more than he could have imagined, and now he faces a cost so dear it will change the course of his life. It's called COVID-19. And there is worse on the horizon.
I know. There's nobody on the street.
What's happening? Why is everybody sheltering in place? The criminals aren't sheltering in place, Dom. Why are people still robbing the jewelry stores? It's crazy. I saw pictures of Coach and Louis Vuitton in San Francisco, and the stores are emptied because everybody's, they took all of the inventory out of the shop. Could you imagine if we had to take all the inventory out of the shop? Holy!
You know how many people it took to put it in here?
Exactly.
I think it was like 25 people that was here that day.
Oh. In the midst of all the horror, he can feel the drumbeat of battle. Joker War is coming, and Gotham City will never be the same. The main cover on my side is by Tony Daniel, which is fantastic. The variant cover on Dom's side is by Francesco Mattina. This is technically not part of the Joker War story arc. That starts with issue 95. But if you want to get this, let us know if you'd like to subscribe to it or pull a copy of the variant. Yeah, Batman 93. There we go. 93. I love that A cover, though. It's so good.
Man, it's so hot right now.
So hot right now. Speaking of so hot right now, next up from DC, we've got Nightwing 71. This does continue the road to the Joker War, which sucks because we got shorted all of our copies of Batman or Nightwing 70 this week. Hopefully we'll get them replaced, but I don't have faith in anything at this point in time. Having a chat with the Clown Prince of Crime is scary enough. Being captured, tied down, and forced to listen to him is something else, especially when you're Rick Grayson, and the Joker just wants you out of action so he can get down to the Dark Knight. With no idea what his story with the Joker might be, Rick doesn't find this situation one bit funny. Main cover on my side is by Mike Perkins. The variant cover on Dom's side is by Alan Qua. If you were wise and you said, I want all of the Joker War stuff, you already added this to your pull. we will have a copy for you. If you are not, I should have put an infographic up, but we posted a few days ago the entirety of Joker War, Batman 95 to 100, Nightwing, Harley, Detective, Red Hood, Batgirl. There's issues within all of those Bat family titles. It's stupid.
I could have it in front of me and still wouldn't remember.
Stupid, worthless knowledge unless you own a comic book store. So, there you go. From IDW this week, we have Sleeping Beauties number 1 of 10. Based on the horror novel by Stephen and his other son, Owen King, and adapted into comic book form by Rio Yours and Allison Sampson, with covers by Annie Wu. A strange sleeping sickness known as Aurora has fallen over the world, and strangest of all, it only affects women. In the small town of Dooling, a mysterious woman has walked out of the woods. She calls herself Eve and leaves a trail of carnage behind her. More mysterious, she's the only woman who is not falling asleep. Main cover on my side by Annie Wu. B cover on Dom's side is by Jen Woodall. If you're into Stephen King stuff, let us know if you would like to pull or add Sleeping Beauties to your subscription, and we can make that happen for you. Okay? A sleeping sickness known as Aurora. Colorado.
You don't realize how much they write about this type of stuff.
Right.
Until now it's happening.
Until it's right there in front of you.
Yeah.
From Marvel this week, adding on to the X-Men franchise, we have X-Men Children of the Atom number 1. As far as I can tell, this is an ongoing series. There's no indication that it is a mini-series. When did the X-Men get sidekicks? They did right now.
Obviously.
Don't miss the debut of the greatest teenage superhero team of all time. They've learned from the best, now they're ready to be put to the test. But who the heck are these kids and where do they come from? Guest starring the X-Men. Tom's just shaking his head and his hand over here.
I mean, how many times are they going to do this?
I don't know.
Storyline.
Couple. Main cover on my side is by R.B. Silva, which is a solid cover. Variant cover on Dom's side is by Todd Knock, with both the senior and the junior of the team there. If you want it added to your subscription, please comment sub X-Men Children of the Atom. If you'd just like to pull a copy to check it out, see what it's all about, you can comment pull with a choice of covers there in front. Huh?
Pull with a P.
With a P. P for pull.
P for pull.
Or BAMF. I don't know.
BAMF.
Here's the big one. I don't know what to do with this next one, considering I don't know if we're going to be open. Here's the Marvel Spring event right here before your eyes, folks. We've got Empire number 1 of 6. The Kree and the Skrulls have united under a new emperor, and their war fleet is on a collision course for Earth. On the moon, the Avengers are ready to strike with the full power of Earth's mightiest heroes. Approaching from outer space, the Fantastic Four are seeking a diplomatic solution. If the two teams can't work together to save the day, things can only get worse. Okay? Main cover on my side is by Jim Chung. There is a blank cover on Dom's side. There is a John Tyler Christopher action figure 2-pack variant that I don't have the image of because he doesn't get stuff in on the time. There is the Tony Daniel Hulkling variant. There's a David Finch cover that is on Dominic's side. We've got the, who's this guy? The Lozano Avenger variant on my side right here. There's the Ed McGuinness Party variant over here on Dom's side. And last but not least, you have the Michael Cho Fantastic Four. So the Avengers one is up top. This one right here is the Fantastic Four one. I think they're going to keep that through the entire 6-issue miniseries. Cool. The art inside is great. I don't know. I don't know what to do with that. If you want it, tell us now so that we can order it for you.
They're not telling you anything what's going on.
They're not. Hulkling is the leader of both the Kree and the Skrulls. Spoiler alert. You should know that if you picked up any of the promo material that we've been passing out for the last couple of months. But it should be interesting. This next one has me shaking my head like you did for the Children of the Atom one.
I didn't know Children of the Atom was coming.
You ready for this next one?
I'm ready.
All right.
Here we go.
Next from Marvel, How to Read Comics the Marvel Way.
I'm done.
Number 1 of 4.
I'm out.
It's a 4-issue miniseries.
John, you got this?
I can work that mouse. Let me slide on over. I don't know what to say about that. The Universal Gateway to the House of Ideas. I tried to read it, but I just got lost. This has happened to you, true believer. Has it, though? You had your intelligent friend a comic book, eagerly anticipating future conversation, only to have it returned months later half-read. I can't even continue this.
They can make a speculator variant because they don't read.
Right. They should have.
You just make the covers and that's it. Nothing in the middle.
1 in 50 or 1 in 100.
Yeah,
it's written by Christopher Hastings, who wrote Unbelievable Gwenpool. Art is by Scott Koblish of Deadpool. Here's your all-purpose guide to reading comics and understanding how they work, hidden in an in-universe story that you won't want to miss. $3.99. The main
that's a nice little price point.
Main cover on my side is by David Nakayama. Variant cover on Dom's side is by Javier Rodriguez. Spider-Man and Mysterio, or Mysterio's trapped the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man in a comic book, so he has to help you navigate through the gutters, balloons, pencils, panels, and more. How to read comics the Marvel way.
That's a cake, man.
That shows I don't want to get. Never mind.
Next, wrap a turd with a bow and they'll buy.
Next from Marvel, we have New Warriors #1 of 5. It's a 5-issue miniseries. Don't call it a comeback.
We've been here for years.
Or Night Thrasher will knock you out instead of Mama.
Yeah.
It's Night Thrasher.
Thrasher.
Knock you out. Or better yet, he'll get one of the new recruits to do it. With Kamala's Law in full effect, forbidding unsupervised superheroics by anyone under the age of 21, it's time for the New Warriors to step up. Thrasher reunites with Firestar, Rage, Speedball, Namorita, and Silhouette to mentor a whole new generation of heroes, whether they like it or not, introducing the New Warriors and the epic of their thrilling new adventures. Main cover on my side is by R.B. Silva. Variant cover on Dom's side is the Marvel Zombies variant by Marvel Arby's.
R.B. Silva?
R.B. Silva,
no
that's good too.
No red ranch.
R.B. Beef and Cheddar Silva. The Zombies variant is by Declan Shalvey.
Awesome.
Okay, I'm pumped for this next one.
What is this one, John?
This is Faithless 2 #1.
Nice.
The best-selling erotic thriller returns from the acclaimed team of Brian Azzarello writing it, Batman Damned, and artist Maria Lovett, who is currently writing and drawing Heartbeat, as Faith and her lovers Louis, also known as the Devil, and Poppy, the Devil's daughter,
Poppy,
bring magic and chaos to the streets of Italy. They brought the coronavirus. They did. Known as the epicenter of black magic, it's also a place of high fashion, art, and literature. Now Faith is in the center of it all, and with that, her own power grows. But any power comes with a price. Faith has only just begun to pay for hers. Curious about this blockbuster occult sex thriller? This is your new jumping on point, featuring the first of... Okay, so we're going to run down with the covers, but I can't show you one of them.
Yeah, obviously, because one of them's...
Main cover right there is by Maria Lovett.
That's good.
The B cover, which is going to be an erotic connecting cover, is by my girlfriend, Tula Latte, and they're too explicit to show you on camera.
You can go stay with her? Well,
no.
this week?
No,
she can't get a plane ticket?
She lives in England.
No.
And there's also this, on Dom's side is the FOC cover by Chris Anka, which is pretty solid. So you got 3 cover choices: main cover, connecting erotica cover, and the FOC cover by Chris Anka. Okay, Faithless 2 #1. From Oni this week comes Invader Zim Quarterly #1, a brand new oversized issue of Invader Zim, now released quarterly. Tasked with a very important mission, Zim's robot servant Gur ventures into the wide world to assist his master with his most diabolical scheme yet. But no one counted on Gur's distractibility, or time travelers, or weird hybrid lab animals who need rescuing. All in a day's work for Gur, but what was he actually supposed to be doing again? The main cover on my side is by Aaron Aleksevic. There's also a variant cover on Dom's side by... Oh, wait, there's not, because I don't have an image of it.
Oh!
There's a variant cover that's also by the same guy that did the main cover. So if you're on Zim, here's a new Zim Quarterly.
This one makes me smile because it's a happy, fun...
Right. This guy's got a rocket ship in his eye.
Rocket ship in his eye.
That's always painful. Next up from Oni Press, we get the Rick and Morty one-shot Council of Ricks #1. They do these quarterly, so once a quarter there's going to be one of these one-shots. I think the last one was Mr. Meeseeks.
Yep.
A long time ago, or whenever, just not right now. Hired by the rich Prime Rick Minister himself, Rick Prime is on the hunt for who's been making counterfeit Ricks and selling to planets of rich idiots who could use a genius. But when he discovers that 5 counterfeit Ricks have escaped into the Citadel, he'll have to assemble a team, a council, if you will, to help him find the fake Ricks and get rid of them, preferably as violently as possible. But who is really behind these counterfeit Ricks and why? And what does this have to do with the gaggle of Jerry's that hides in the subsections of the Citadel? If that doesn't have you laughing, you're dead inside. I don't know.
Gaggle of Jerry's.
Cover A on my side is by Philip Murphy. Cover B on Dom's side is by Julia Scott. It's just a one-shot, so it's only a pull book. I'm sorry. We cannot subscribe you to these things, but let us know if you'd like cover A or cover B, and we'll get it done for you.
Oh, my Lord. From
Titan this week, I guess this is a video game. I'm so out of touch with everything. Really? I think so. Life is Strange, I'm pretty sure it's a video game.
Huh. I don't know.
I don't know what it is or how it works. It's first-person shooter. I don't either, man. But there's a new Life is Strange. This is Life is Strange Partners in Time #1. A new era, a new #1 from the folks at Titan. The adventures of Max, Chloe, and Rachel from the hit game. There we go. I should have just read the stupid solicit. From the hit game Life is...
Stick to the script, John.
Yeah.
Stick to the script.
Continue into a new era. Time rewinding photographer Max has spent the last couple of years in a reality parallel to her own. Lately, she realized she was running from her responsibilities and from the Chloe she left. Now, there may be a way for her to get home. With the universe against her, it's time for the coast-to-coast road trip of multiple lifetimes to find it, following the band The High Seas towards an uncertain destiny. If that makes sense to you, this book might be for you.
Makes sense to Eric Rogers.
All right, good.
He's like, a wonderful video game.
I think Zach Rubico is a fan of the game as well. So, cover A on my side is by Ilya Kushinov. Cover B on Dom's side is by Sarah Grayley. Cover C, if you scroll up just a touch, for some reason they call this the T-shirt variant. Cover D on Dom's side with the butterfly wings is also by Ilya Kushinov. And then cover E, if you scroll up one more. Oh, you're good. Oh, really? We got a black and white version of the main cover. So I don't know if this is an ongoing series. I think the last one went to it was supposed to be a mini, but it was extended to 12 issues. They haven't said anything about how long this one is going to run. But we have Life is Strange, Partners in Time, #1. Okay? Next up, we got our Who Does #2 work for segment. So all of these issues...
Oh, sorry.
Huh?
Hey, John, go ahead. What is who's...
We keep forgetting to put the clip in there.
That's right.
Who does #2 work for? From Austin Powers, man. This is just a little space to spotlight issue #2s that are on FOC this coming Monday.
Why?
Some of these, that's a great point, Don.
Why?
The whole point of focusing on these #2s, we as a store, not anymore, but we as a store used to order up on #1s because it's a #1. It's cable. There's a lot of people that are cable fans that may not come to the store the day that the book comes out, but cable will generally have legs so that we can sell copies of cable #1 long term. But I look at, when #2 is on FOC, I look at how many copies of #1 we ordered, how many people are subscribed to that book now versus how many when we first announced it, and how many copies of that book sold off the rack, which, as we discussed at the beginning of this video, possibly going away. If you picked up cable #1 off of the rack, you weren't subscribed to it, you haven't added it to your subscription, if you read it and enjoyed it and would like to get #2, you got to tell us now, especially with the uncertainty of the world around us and the fact that we're basically going to be ordering for subs. If you're not subscribed to cable, you're not going to get a copy of cable #2. That's the long and short of how this is going to work. So that's what the point of this whole little segment here is to highlight issue #2s that are on FOC this next week.
Kind of reminder.
Yeah, just a reminder.
Like the series, hop on.
If you like the series, if you enjoyed the number 1, commit to it, or not. But don't get mad when you can't get a copy of number 2 because we didn't order any.
You can't open the door.
Yeah, because you can't open the door, and we didn't have it for you. That's exactly the point, though. That's the point that we're trying to get across.
Right.
If you tell us that you want it, we'll have it for you. If you don't, especially in these uncertain times, and our doors are locked next week, so sorry. Like we tried to tell you. That's why we do it. So from Image, we have Stealth number 2. Number 1 has been out for a couple of weeks now. This is a new creative team returning to characters that were created by Robert Kirkman and Willis Portacio. It's a 6-issue miniseries. Number 2 is on FOC on Monday. Okay? Speaking of Cable number 2 is on FOC on Monday. I think that came out last week, right?
I think so. Yeah, it did.
The main cover on my side is by Phil Noto. The variant cover that is on Dom's side is by David Yarden, and that is the Marvel Zombies variant. We can get you either one of those as long as you let us know. Okay? Up next is Spider-Woman number 2. Spider-Woman number 1 came out Wednesday. I know that it's Friday. I know that a lot of you haven't had a chance to pick it up and read it. But if you get the opportunity to do so, let us know if you want a copy of number 2. Okay? Main cover on my side is by Jung-Gen Yoon, the same person that did the main cover for issue number 1. The variant cover on Dom's side is by Mike Hawthorne, and that is continuing the villains variant cover, I guess, that they're doing for Spider-Woman.
You know who he is?
Juggernaut?
I'd say the rest of it.
What do you mean?
I'm the...
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
From AWA, there are 2 titles that have issue 2s coming out that are on FOC on Monday. The first one is Hotel number 2, 4-issue miniseries. If you picked up a copy of number 1, let us know if you want number 2. And next we have Resistance. J. Michael Straczynski and Mike Deodato's new book about what else but a pandemic. It's a 6-issue miniseries. If you got a chance to get number 1 and read it, number 2 is on FOC on Monday. Let us know so that we can order one for you. From Action Lab this week, we have Sweetheart number 2. That was a weird kind of independent horror book that came out last week. If you picked a copy of number 1 up, if you enjoyed it, let us know to order you a copy of number 2. It's a 5-issue miniseries. Otherwise, we're not going to have any. And finally, from Oni Press, if you bump us up one more, we have Dryad number 2. Now, that's been out for, I think, 3 weeks. The writer of Rat Queens has 2 different classes coming together. They have a baby. It's very much a D&D story. If you picked up number 1, which somebody did because we sold out of number 1, number 2 is on FOC Monday. So let us know if you want to add that to your subscription. Okay? So that's it. That's our focus on number 2s this week. The last thing that we give you is the entire list of all of the comics that are on FOC on Monday. You can scroll through this list. It's all broken up by publishers. So you've got Boom and Dark Horse and DC, Dynamite, IDW, Image, blah, blah, blah. You can go through this entire list and you can use these item codes right here, copy those codes into a internet browser of your choice. The first result that's going to come up is the previews.com listing for that item.
Are you ready?
Let's do it. Let's take them on a tour. Let's show them how this works, Dom.
Okay. So we're going to copy this.
Copy that little thing right there.
Next, no, they can't see me.
They can't see you.
Deceased and Killables, the cardstock horror variant, because I love these horror
Yes.
variants. Control C, open up your web browser, go into your search engine, Control V to paste, hit enter.
Very first item right there at the top. Boom. Deceased Unkillables.
Oh, that's
Suicide Squad.
Yes.
The cardstock horror movie poster variant. You've got all the info there. You've got a description of the book. You've got cover price and an image of the cover. So that's how you can use that entire block of text that is right there at the very bottom of the write-up. Okay? I can't stress to you enough how important it is to let us know what we can order for you. You guys heard my spiel. I'm not going to get back on that soapbox, but with the way things are looking, we are moving pretty much to subs only on everything that we're ordering for the store. We're cutting trades, we're cutting toys, we're cutting all that stuff. If there's something that you want, now is the time to let us know. Okay? Sorry to be doom and gloom, but
it's the reality of what's going on.
With that note, have a great weekend. Don't forget any fights at Costco.
We'll try to be coming back
Supers.
with a lot more content online.
Yeah,
just so you know what we're doing. So
absolutely. If you're not already, make sure you follow us on Facebook. Follow us on YouTube, youtube.com/c/Hall of Justice Comics Collectibles. Hit the bell on YouTube for notifications so that you get notified when we post new content there. I think that's it.
That's it, buddy.
I'm John.
I'm Dom.
We'll see you guys.